go to the back page of the Eye. Murtough exit hints at imminent arrival, Charlotte, of Ashworth at United. Where are we with the manoeuvrings behind the scenes at Manchester United? Is there clarity in place soon, do you feel?
I think this was a move that many people were expecting when it was announced that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was taking over at the club last year. They want to bring in a new structure. We already know that they've brought in Omar Barada as CEO. He's currently on gardening leave after leaving Manchester City. And as we all know, it's been very public, the pursuit of Dan Ashworth, who's left Newcastle, and they also want Jason Wilcox from Southampton. So the idea is that these people will come in, they'll be in place, they'll be over transfers, and that will be the new structure behind the scenes at Manchester United. As David reported first this morning, I think it was, John Murtough has now, will be leaving the club this week. He's decided to step aside. From people I was speaking to earlier in the season, there was a discussions going on whether he might be given a different role or step aside and do something slightly different. We know that he came through and was in charge of a lot of the academy. So there's a lot of success that he's had there. He set up the women's team at Manchester United. But when he made that step up in 2021, I think a lot of people will look at the money that has been spent under him on transfers and possibly judge him on that. So it's time for a new era at Manchester United, and the new owners want new people in charge there. So I think David will probably explain more, but that's the reason why they're moving away from what they've got at the moment.
Let's bring you in, David. I think we can show your piece in The Athletic as well. Manchester United football director John Murtough steps down is the headline there. It's a piece credited to you and Laurie Whitwell here. What can you tell us about the timeframes involved? Because there'll be anxiety on Manchester United fans' parts, won't there, on how this situation is resolved in terms of the setup of the back room?
Yeah, I think there was quite a long-term expectation that John Murtough would be moving on once the Ineos takeover was complete, or investment into the club. But many thought he would stay until the end of the season because of this struggle United are having getting Dan Ashworth from his gardening leave at Newcastle, and Jason Wilcox as well, where compensation needs to be agreed with Southampton. But I think it's come to the point where Manchester United hope that they are quite close to getting Wilcox in. They would like to think that he'll be starting in the coming weeks. And with that in mind, things really needed to come to a head, because it was felt and known inside United that Murtough would be moving on. And a lot of the team he's built around him, the likes of Andy O'Boyle as deputy, you've got Matt Hargreaves, who leads the sort of contracts and transfer negotiations. You've got David Harrison, who came in as head of football operations from Everton, Nick Cox on the academy side. They're all going to be staying as far as we know, and they're capable of sort of taking this on. But if Murtough was going to be leaving, then it wasn't really a sustainable situation. And so I think that's why this has been sort of escalated now, and he said his goodbyes and has stepped down. So that brings an end to more than a decade at Manchester United in various roles. He previously worked at the Premier League, Everton and Fulham. And there's been lots of debate about John Murtough's record. People have obviously criticised and scrutinised his what he's done on transfers and recruitment, but there's been some significant work on the academy and on Manchester United's women's team, and also a lot of the structural changes that have been implemented. And all of those guys I mentioned will feel that they're at the sort of start of something here, and that Ineos are coming in with Sir Dave Brailsford and Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada coming in as chief executive in the summer, and Jason Wilcox, to sort of harness that and take this on, what they will hope successfully. Big decision, of course, on Erik ten Hag. Will they continue with him as manager? Will they look to make a change? There are huge decisions ahead, but this really is a significant moment, because John Murtough had been in charge, really, of football. He was at the top of the tree in that sense, and now he's gone, and United's people that will replace him there will be responsible for leading the club forward.
And David, quick, time is pressing a little bit, but in 30 seconds or so, with Jason Wilcox, a few seasoned Manchester United fans may remember him as a thorn in their sides as a winger for Blackburn, but he's got quite a reputation. What can you tell us about him in terms of his coaching and directing expertise now?
Yeah, post-career, he started as a coach in Manchester City's academy, caught the eye, got promoted to academy director and built a very strong reputation inside and outside of City. Got picked up last summer by Southampton, director of football there. It's been a very short stint in charge, but he has caught the eye again and is very highly regarded. But crucially, Omar Barada, the incoming chief executive of Manchester United, knows him extremely well from City. And it would be no surprise if it was his sort of target to bring him into Manchester United. And when you speak to people around the game, they think that he is going to be a really good appointment as technical director, which will also mean they'll need to find a different title for Darren Fletcher, who's the technical director at the moment. United would like him to stay, but that hasn't been finalised yet.